half the battle. Today it's back to the cartoon. And I seem to have accidentally started a vacation theme month. Because this week's episode is called Flint's Vacation. I didn't plan this, I swear. The episode starts with Jessica Fletcher, Flint, leaving on vacation. He's heading to Pleasant Cove, a new experimental housing project where his cousin lives. How convenient. He had a wonderful vacation where nothing interesting at all happened, and he came back to work refreshed. Well, see you next week, everybody. Yeah, we all know there's no chance of that. He arrives at his cousin's place.
Ted, it's great to see you.
Come in, Flint.
I like to imagine this is the reception he always gets. Anyway, the whole family, and in fact everybody in town, talk in the same monotone, emotionless way. You know, the same way that I talked in my first, dozen or so episodes.
Good night, everyone. Night.
The guest room is at the end of the hall. I guess I'll be turning in too.
This early?
Early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and
boring.
That night, Flint has a bad dream, so of course he wakes up from it, and notices all the pod people walking somewhere in the middle of the night.
Cobra?
What a coincidence! Jessica, I'm so glad you're here! There's been a murder! Anyway, Flint is spotted and makes a run for the sheriff's office, only to find that the law in these parts happened to be the Dreadnoks and Zartan. After a chase, Flint is eventually captured. He is brought before Cobra Commander, who shows him the townsfolk as slave laborers. They've been brainwashed or hypnotized by the TV broadcast, and Flint undergoes the same treatment, immediately converting him. Must be Fox News. Cobra Commander, as he is wont to do, appears on worldwide TV and explains his plan.
Today I speak to you from my underwater city, which, if my demands are not met, will be the only city left on Earth. I have constructed a new weapon capable of killing off all the Earth's vegetation. If you do not want this disaster to occur, you must agree to make me your supreme leader. This hurts my brain. Oh, not the plan itself, though that's stupid too, but the cognitive dissonance Cobra Commander, or the writers of the episode, display here. Cobra has the ability to brainwash people through television. Cobra also has the ability to appear on every television worldwide, as we've seen many times before. And the commander doesn't put two and two together. He could have taken over the world right there and then. Stupid. Speaking of stupid, they have Flint walk by in the background when the commander makes his demands, so the Joes know where to start looking. That's the second convenient coincidence in one story. Lady J and Breaker are sent to Pleasant Cove to investigate. They spot a transmission building and go see what's up. And they find out Cobra has been using subliminal messages in the broadcast to brainwash people. Things aren't always what they seem. Now, I'm only gonna show you every 20th frame. Good evening, employees. Tonight we will be expecting you on the boarding docks at midnight, so go to bed early.
He's hypnotizing the whole town through subliminal suggestion.
I have notes! This whole story is based on the rumor that companies would try this in movie theaters to get people to buy their products. The rumor was completely false. Companies never tried it, and when it was tried scientifically, it didn't work. At all. It is in fact complete and utter horse crap. But never let science stand in the way of a good story, as they say in Hollywood. Anyway, they split up, and Lady J calls in the cavalry when she sees the pod people, I mean townsfolk, board a submarine. Yeah, this story is also a thin version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I'm going to see what I can do about getting into the underwater fortress by myself.
When the Joe team arrives, we get a short sea battle where the same thing happens 3 times, basically. The Joes hit Sartan's hydrofoil, the Baroness hits the Joe's whale, and the sub hits the Baroness's water moccasin. The sub is piloted by Lady J. Yeah, we went from her looking for a way in to stealing and piloting a giant submarine by herself. A giant submarine that apparently had no guards, crew, or any security whatsoever. I guess anybody can just waltz up and take it. This is why Cobra deserves to lose. So, it's all aboard to USS Easy Pickens for the final confrontation. On the base, Cobra Commander seems to have switched from subliminal to just liminal messages as he orders the zombified townsfolk to attack the Joes. And hey, Tripwire spots Flint.
Hey, look who's here!
Flint!
Flint!
Well, what did you think would happen, dumbass? Did you figure, what, he was trying to give you the traditional Nahasapima Petalon apology? Anyway, Lady J goes after him and finds herself trapped in an airlock while Breaker and Bazooka are trying to screw up the commander's broadcast. Lady J tries talking Flint out of drowning them both. And I'd like to point out that she has eons of time to just knock the guy out. Something we know she's good at. Seriously, she could have taken him out like a dozen times by now. Or, she could use one of the dozen weapons she has on her back. But, well, to my dismay, it's up to the other Joes to rescue the damsel in distress. They managed to put their own subliminal message in telling everybody to ignore Cobra Commander, so the day is saved.
Ignore Cobra Commander. He's a jerk. That is disgusting!
Well, Cobra does blow up their own base, but naturally everybody gets out okay. And we end the same way that we ended last week's comic, with a Joe saying he's had enough vacation and wants to go back on duty for some peace and quiet. So, that was Flint's vacation. It was meh, but I do have 2 problems with the episode. Firstly, Cobra's plan created a plot hole big enough to drive the Death Star through. If you can hypnotize people through the TV, just, do that. Don't even bother with the killing all plants plan. That's so stupid, I didn't even tell you how they resolved it in the recap.
That was close. I wasn't able to deactivate the missile.
And the world shall pay for your incompetence.
Not really. I rerouted it. It's going straight out into space.
And centuries later, that missile hit Kronos, explaining why A, Kronos looks like that, and B, why the Klingons were always so pissed off at us. My second problem, Lady J. What the hell did the writers do to her in the end? She starts off awesome by commandeering a freaking submarine all by herself. And, I would have loved to have seen those scenes happen. But when she's trapped with Flint, she turns into this.
You brute, you brute, you brute, you vicious brute! Alright.
Way to torpedo her character there, cartoon! And finally, as an aside, this was of course our second example of the Murder, She Wrote plot convenience of showing up just when something nefarious is happening. And it won't be the last. Overall, I'd say you could take or leave this episode, but it does insult your intelligence, not to mention Lady J. Well, see you next time, everybody. Bye.